Hey there, in this video we're going to be going over the 2022-2023 TMSCA General Math Test number 6. Let's do it. Next, what is the rate of decay of the exponential decay function h of x is equal to 5.6 times 0.34 to the power of x? Alright, I actually have a full video just on exponential functions, which will be linked to the pin card at the top, but let's continue with this problem. So, what is the rate of decay of the exponential decay function? H of x is equal to 5.6 times 0.34. So right here, this is your decay factor, or I'm going to write df. So if this is your decay factor, how do we find the rate of decay? Well, the way we find rate of decay is we do 1 minus decay factor. So if the decay factor is 0.34, we do 1 minus 0.34. That gets us 66. So that's 66%, and that's your answer. Number 43. 2 times ab to the power of negative 3 divided by 8 times a squared times b to the power of negative 1. Alright, so let's solve this. So first, let's take what's inside the parentheses. So we have 2ab to the power of negative 3 divided by 8a squared b. Alright, so first, 2 over 8. That's just 1 over 4. Next, we have a power 1 over a power 2. The reason it's a power 1 is because there's no listed power, meaning it's automatically a power 1. So when you have a bigger exponent on top, you have to do the bigger exponent minus the lower exponent, or the one on top, so a power 1. The exponent, we just subtract the 2, which makes it a power negative 1. When you have a negative exponent, to get rid of the negative exponent, you just push the value to the bottom. So you can write this as 1 over a. So we're just going to put the a at the bottom here. Next, b power negative 3 over b. So that's just b power 1. So b power negative 3 minus 1 is b power negative 4. Again, we can't have a negative exponent of b negative 4. So we can make it 1 over b power 4. And now this becomes b power 4. And you have the 1 for ab 4 at the bottom. Now what we need to do is we need to do that in negative 1 exponent. As we saw earlier, the negative 1 exponent just means that we bring it to the bottom. But if we already have something on the bottom, what do we do? So all we have to do is just do the reciprocal here. So this becomes 4ab to the power of 4 divided by 1, which is still just 4ab power 4. And that's your answer. Next, number 44. In the picture below, arc BE equals 44 degrees and arc CD equals 86 degrees. What is the measure of angle BAE? Alright, so in this problem, all we have to do is we have to find this angle right here. To do that, we can do 86, or arc CD, minus arc BE divided by 2. So arc CD is 86 and BE is 44. Divide that by 2. So 86 minus 44 is 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21, and that's your answer. Next, which of the following is a factor of the trinomial 6x squared plus x minus 1? Alright, this is a quadratic trinomial, which means we can use the quadratic equation to factor it out. Or we can use something called the magic cross. So the magic cross is just the best way of factoring out an equation like this. So first we have 6x squared plus x minus 1. So we take the coefficient of x, which is our a value, and we have the coefficient of x by itself, not x squared. So a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is just the last value, the negative 1 right there. Alright, so what we do is we do a times c, which is 6 times negative 1, so negative 6. And then we do b by itself, 1. So we have to find two numbers that multiply to negative 6, but they add to 1. So in this case, two numbers that multiply to negative 6 and add to 1 are 3 and negative 2. Because 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, but 3 minus 2 is 1. Alright, so now we can rewrite this as 6x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 1. Now we're going to break this down the middle and factor out each individual part. So right here, in common between the 6x squared and the 3x is a 3x. So we can take out 3x right here, and we leave in 2x plus 1. And then here, we can just take out the negative 1 and leave in 2x plus 1. So now we have 2x plus 1 as one of our factors because it repeats twice here. But what's the other one? Because we have two factors in a quadratic equation. Well, the other one is just the two numbers are here, 3x and negative 1. So 3x minus 1. These are our two factors. And right here at C, 2x plus 1 appears, so that's your answer. Next, number 46. What are the solutions of the equation the absolute value of x plus 4 equals 13? Alright, so if we have just x plus 4 equals 13, then obviously the only answer is 9, because 9 plus 4 equals 13, which means x is equal to 9, right? Well, when you add the absolute value to that x plus 4, that means we can have one more value on the negative scale. So, what we need to check is for the negative numbers that add to negative 13. That way, when it's put in through the absolute value, it becomes positive 13, and positive 13 is equal to positive 13. Alright, so let's find it. The value of x that substitutes for this condition is negative 17, because negative 17 plus 4 is negative 13. And when you put the absolute value on that, that just becomes 13. And 13 is equal to 13. So our two values of x are x is equal to negative 17 and 9. And that's your answer. Next, Evan deposits $800 into a simple interest account at 6% rate for 7 years. How much money will be in Evan's bank account after the 7 years? Alright, the formula for interest is price, which is $800, times rate, which is 6 over 100, times time, which is 7. Alright, so that's just 800 divided by 100 times 6 divided by 7. The reason we're switching around the denominator is in a multiplication equation like this, you can just switch around the denominators of all the numbers. So we can do this to simplify this number, which just becomes 8. So this becomes 8 times 6 times 7, which is 48 times 7. So 48 times 7 is 336. So that's the amount of interest we got. But they're asking how much money will total be in Evan's bank account after the 7 years. So we have to add the $336 in interest back to the original $800, which makes it $1,136, and that's your answer. Next, how is a compound inequality negative 3 is less than n is less than or equal to 8 expressed in interval notation? Alright, the way we express a compound inequality in interval notation is we look at the two symbols given. So if one of the symbols, so let's just take the first symbol, right? If it is a less than or greater than sign, we write a curved line like this. However, if it is a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to sign, we would write a square bracket like this. So that's the two sides of the compound inequality, and inside holds the two values that we get from each side of the inequality. Alright, now let's solve for the inequality. So first, let's do the compound interval notation. So right here is a less than sign, meaning we use this parentheses symbol. And right here, for the second one, there is a less than or equal to sign, meaning we use the square bracket. So this is the right interval notation. Now we just need to find the numbers. So we have negative 3 is less than n is less than or equal to 8. So we have to do each side of the equation first. So in this equation, they basically already give it to us, because usually in an inequality, you have something like negative 3 is less than n plus 4. But we have n by itself, meaning these are the two values we need to put in our compound inequality. So we can just put them in for a and b, which becomes negative 3, 8, with a square bracket like this, and that's your answer. Next, which of the following systems below have a solution of 5, 3? Alright, so all we have to do is solve each one of these systems of inequalities. Next, which of the following systems below have a solution of 5, 3? Alright, all we have to do is solve all of the system of equations and figure out which one have the solution of 5, 3. Let's do it. Alright, let's start with number 1. So number 1 is x equals y plus 2, and 4x is equal to 5y plus 5. The easy way to do this is we multiply the top equation by 4 to make the x variables equal to each other. So this becomes 4x is equal to 4y plus 8, and 4x is equal to 5y plus 5. Now we can subtract this equation from this one. So these two cancel out. So then it just becomes 0 is equal to negative y plus 3. Now we can bring the y over to this side by adding it to both sides of the equation. So this becomes y equals 3. Now that we know what our y value is, which is 3, we can just find our x value. So the way we find our x value is we plug it in into the original equation. So we have x is equal to y plus 2. We know our y value is 3, so this becomes x is equal to 3 plus 2, x is equal to 5. So this is the correct system of equations which come out with a solution of 5, 3. Now what we need to do is we need to do this same step for every single one of these equations, and when you do that, you get that 1 has a solution of 5, 3, and the fourth one has a solution of 5, 3. So that's your answer. Next, what is the area of the quadrilateral with its vertices located at negative 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, negative 2, and negative 1, negative 3? Alright, so let's write out all our coordinates to solve this. So we have negative 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, negative 2, and negative 1, negative 3. Now let's write the first coordinate one more time. Negative 2, 1. The reason we do that is we're going to use something called the shoestring method. So we're going to multiply these numbers like this, and then add up the sum of them. And we're going to multiply these numbers like this, and add up the sum of those. So let's do that. So first, negative 2 times 2, that is negative 4. Next, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Next, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Next, negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. When you add those up, you get negative 4 minus 8, which is negative 12, negative 12 minus 9, which is negative 21, and negative 21 minus 1, which is negative 22. Alright, now let's do this side. 1 and 4, that's 4. 2 and 3, that's 6. Negative 2 and negative 1, that's just 2. And negative 3 and negative 2 is 6. So we add these up, and we get 10, 12, 18. So now we have 18 and 22. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this number right here, 18, and do subtract of the other number, which is negative 22, and divide that by 2. So 18 minus negative 22 is just 18 plus 22, which is 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20, and that's your answer. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to show your support. These videos take a lot of effort to make, and I would really appreciate it.